All right, I wanted to talk a little bit about phenomenology, since that's what is the topic of the week this week. Um, Phenomenology is actually one of my favorite methods to use. As most of you know, it comes from the word phenomena or phenomena, and phenomena means is related to someone's experience of something. And so, oftentimes when people talk about phenomenology, really what they're trying to do is understand the lived experience of someone or a group of people. Uh, it has some similarities to ethnography. You know, as we talked before, ethnography is stems partially from anthropology, and it's that process of joining the tribe and being a part of the tribe and that type of thing. Phenomenology is kind of like that, but it's usually done more through interviews and less through observation, although there has been some phenomenological studies that do use observation on some level. But phenomenology is a set of methods used during a study, and like I said, often through interviewing, in which you try to understand the lived experience of someone. Other terms or words that are oftentimes used with phenomenology is understanding the essence of something. And essence is kind of a weird word, but really what you're trying to do is get into the rich, deep uh, texture of some phenomena. And so, some examples of phenomenology in MFT might be, what is the lived experience of a couple that experiences infidelity, or what is it like? What is the lived experience of uh, someone that is an immigrant to the United States? What is that experience like for them? Or, what is the lived experience of being a therapist and working with a certain type of population, maybe troubled youth, for example? What do therapists experience in that world? So, phenomenology is a qualitative type of research. It is, when I talked about the phases of research in terms of evidence in the previous video, qualitative research is used to get some of that initial deep explanation of a certain area, and then you are able to move into more quantitative forms of research. I've conducted a lot of phenomenological studies. It's actually the most common method that I use. I started using it with my dissertation. Basically, what I did in my dissertation is I examined marriage and family therapists that were in non-traditional areas of study. And so I looked at people that might have been practicing in unique areas of study. I also looked at unique theory development or new theories that were coming out, and also looked at new research areas. And so these were family therapists that had delved into areas of MFT that hadn't been explored before. And so I was trying to figure out what what makes these family therapists want to pioneer or delve into these new areas of study or application or research. And so it was a phenomenological study. I did in-depth interviews with pioneers of the field in terms of theory, research, and practice, and really got to know, what drives them, what makes them move into an area that may be risky on some level or very new. And so I was interested in that, and the main reason I was interested is I wanted to know what could help innovate the field. We're always looking at ways to innovate, create, become better as clinicians, researchers, and so forth. And so I was interested in what makes that happen, both on an individual level and as a field. And so I definitely took a phenomenological approach, which really did look at the lived experience of these professionals as they delve into these new areas. You know, we recently just published, I don't know if yeah, it did come out. It came out in December of 2012. We did a phenomenological study of the lived experience of family therapists around the world. So we interviewed family therapists from 14 different countries and used a semi-structured interview guide to explore, you know, what is it like for them to be a family therapist, to work with their clients, to be in the field or discipline that they're in within their country in that part of the world. And once again, it's not meant to generalize any uh, set of findings, but it helps us understand in a deeper, richer level, you know, what it's like. And you know, why is that important? Well, oftentimes phenomenological studies lead to new ways of treating people, of new ways of thinking about something, new considerations that can lead to more quantitative, generalizable studies down the road. But you know, it had been really difficult to really know. For example, in the international family therapy example, it had been difficult to really know what is important to examine in that arena without having these really rich, in-depth interviews. You know, for example, one thing that just didn't cross my mind, and it's my own ignorance, and it's the place of the world that I live in. But you know, most therapists in the world, you know what they worry about? They worry about children's experience of war. You know, fortunately, we don't have to deal with that, but a lot of these countries do. You know, these children witness war and the tragedies of war, and so from my biased standpoint in my place in the world, there's no way I would have known that's an area of study that would have been that needs to be explored more. But because we conducted these in-depth interviews, we're able to understand, you know, their lived experience. You know, another thing that's interesting around that study, just to mention real quick, is that a lot of them uh, are are very much pioneers in a very big way in different parts of the world. You know, we've had family therapy for 50 years. Uh, some of these countries haven't even had psychology for a decade, let alone family therapy. And so it's neat to interview these people and see, wow, these are the Mnuchins, the Bowens, the all the who we consider founding fathers of family therapy here. You know, I'm getting a chance to interview some of these founding fathers or mothers in these other countries. And so phenomenology can be a really fun, very uh, inspiring experience, both for the participants and the researcher. I did another one years ago on the lived experience of Latino immigrant couples that were considered to have strong relationships. We basically developed criterion about in regards to Latino couples here in the United States that had immigrated, and we developed criterion around those couples that had strong relationships, and we interviewed them to understand what made their relationship strong, what about them, what about their experience. Once again, very valuable information. Um, so, you know, I'm biased. I really enjoy phenomenology. I think there's a huge benefit to phenomenology. I think it's really fun. Um, I think, you know, with the technology we have today, there's a wide, open range of opportunities to do, you know, documentaries, to do in-depth case studies with video, you know, engage in some of the technology we have to provide podcast or webcam or Skype or you know, even production video type of products through phenomenology. Uh, you know, a lot of us really enjoy some of these documentaries, you know, on Netflix or you know, PBS or National Geographic even, and you know, there's nothing that says that we can't engage in similar type of documentaries as it relates to family therapy or other areas within family therapy. So, I truly believe there will be a niche over time that will be developed in which we can combine phenomenological research with technology like video production, webcam, Skype, all those things, and really share with the world some of the unique experiences and benefits of family therapy. So, anyway, some things to think about with phenomenology. Hope that gives you some additional insight into what phenomenology is, and we'll see you next week.